Hey guys, welcome back to RMA Garage. Thanks for joining us. In this video, we are going to be talking about my son's hydration pack. He bought this for himself last year and used it for the most of the riding season. We're going to be going over pros and cons, how he used it, some of the modifications that he did, and an addition that he did that works with the pack. So hopefully what we share with you today will help you decide whether or not you want to purchase one for yourself or not. All right, so let's get to it. So the hydration pack that my son bought last year was the Leatt 2.0 GPX Race Light Hydration Pack. He really wanted to get something for his own. We had used Camelbacks before, but he wanted something that was a little bit more flashy and that something that he picked out himself. So the first feature that we're going to do, we're going to go over the outside first, and I'll show you the hydration pack. So this is a nylon. It's pretty tight weave. I mean, it's really soft. Again, he's used this for probably 8 months, and the wear is actually pretty well. I mean, the stitching is still in great shape. We do run these through the wash, so they clean up very well. We have run these through the washing machine probably at least 6 or 7 times. So the fabric is held up, the silk screening is held up very well. So I will start with the back. There are some raised ribs on the back that allows air to circulate in between, so you don't have this whole face sitting flat on your back, creating a wet spot through your shirt. There is some aluminum reflective material here to help reflect whether or not it's, most likely your liquids in here are going to be cold. So this is going to keep the cold in and the hot out. And there's also a piece on this on the back to keep the heat out, because obviously you're going to be a lot warmer than this pack. The material on the back here kind of has a rough texture to prevent it from sliding around on your back. So it kind of grips your back a little bit. It's also on the side pieces here as well. All right, so we got a handle here just to kind of hold it when you're not wearing it. And the strapping system is actually quite unique. There's a system where you can shorten it, and he has shortened it a couple of strands. There's a little mechanism here that opens up, and then you can slide this down and you can pick each individual part that you want. This actually works well with him, so this will actually sit like this on your shoulder, and he's did that on this other side. And there are actually 2 latches that hold it on your chest. So this goes in and snaps, and that is how it's going to sit on your chest. And again, there's a little bit of play in here, so it has some stretch. So there's a band, but it can fit tight, but if you bend over or if you're flexing, it flexes with you. So it's not a hard basic strap. It'll flex with you. Something that we also found interesting here was the whistle. There is a rescue whistle here. It's got quite a length on it, but we have no idea what this groove is. We thought maybe this groove would connect to the side of this or somewhere, but we have not been able to find out why there is a groove in this whistle. So if any of you guys know what this whistle does or why this groove is in this whistle, please leave a comment below. All right, so the back straps here, they are adjustable, of course. And what I like too is, I don't know how many of you guys use Camelbacks, but sometimes these straps are always too long, of course, and we don't know what to do with them. Well, they have this little handy Velcro strap here that holds them in place. And these do not come off in the wash, and they certainly don't come off when you're riding. So these are probably some of the best strap keepers that we've seen. All right, so the front, we have one main storage pack, and this zipper here, it's got a little rubber nub on it to grab it easy. But this whole section here is the entire inside of this pack. So I would think, I mean, for what the trail riding we do, maybe a car key, a wallet, a cell phone. Certainly something that you can fit in here. It's not real big and it's not real thick. It's probably only going to hold probably something that's about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick before it starts to bulge too much. Maybe a energy bar. Okay, so moving inside, again, another lining of nylon on the inside. And we have a clip for the hydration pack that we're going to get to in a minute. And this pack basically goes all the way down. It's completely open. And again, it has a good zipper. Everything is held up very well on this. All right, so moving to the hydration pack, this is something that is quite unique, especially for me. I've been using Camelbacks for a long time. So when he bought this, I found it quite interesting in design. So this bag here opens at the top with a Velcro type closure. You fill it up full of whatever and you ziplock it and it snaps and then it folds over on itself, and the keeper for this is actually a little cinch blade, and then it has a little separator. So what happens is when you fold this over, it creates a little bow there, and then this slides into it. Then you pull it through. Real simple. And then that keeps the bag from leaking. It's quite ingenious. And what I like about this is that it supports the entire top of the bag, and it also prevents, we know that the liquid is not going to come out. So the way this works is once you fill the liquids up, you slide this in the bag, and then it snaps onto the top here, and then it is supported, basically just like that. Now there's also one on the inside too, so I guess maybe you could either stick the hydration pack to one side or the other. We're not quite sure, but it is the exact same clip. My son always has it on the back, which is what he prefers. All right, so when you're done riding, you take it off and you empty out the liquid. Okay, but now I can get my hand inside the bag to wash it. You could rinse it out, and you can hang it upside down. It'll dry completely, totally. You can definitely access the entire bag. And to me, this is really cool because now there's no problems with leftover liquid, or are we going to be able to get it dry or clean 100%. Something else that's interesting is that this bag has I guess it has a rib, for lack of a better term. You can see the weld here and a weld on the back for the piece of basically the same type of membrane, which is the bag. And what it does is it prevents the bag from opening and basically ballooning. So when you put liquid in this bag, it basically becomes like a rectangle. So it holds it nice and flat instead of it ballooning on your back. So that was pretty cool. One other feature about this hydration pack is that the hose is removable. So when you go to use this, the hose clips right in, but you can also take the hose out, which is cool because you can clean the hose aside from the bag. It's not married to the bag forever. Plus, we'll get into a couple other benefits to that, but I like to be able to take the hose out and clean it and let it dry aside from the bag. All right, so we got the bag basically installed, and it fits better when there's a little bit of water in it. Okay, so now we have this hose. So this hose can go out either port. So there's a hole here on one side that you can feed the hose up through, and then there is another hole on the outside that will feed. So you can go either right or left depending on your preference. Now the reason why is because my son decided to use the feature of installing the hose in his helmet. Now I think this is the reason why he bought this in the first place, because he loves this whole helmet hydration system. So what we're going to do is I'm going to feed this through. I'm going to show you how this works. All right, so the pack is ready to go. And if we pretend that he's wearing this, okay, and this is his helmet. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. We've got his helmet on, we've got his pack. So this hydration system will connect to this hose. And before I connect, I'm going to show you how this hose is connected. So there is a piece of Velcro here that slides up inside the helmet, and it connects basically to a liner inside. And I think that there's a piece of Velcro that attaches to this cheek pad. So then this is adjustable. I mean, he has it basically where he wants it, but this can be slid anywhere. It can be positioned anywhere, so it can fit whatever helmet that you have. So then this hose goes through, but he had to drill out his front face piece. So if you look in the back here, you can see that it's a little chewed up a little bit. It was a first go around for him, and he wasn't extremely happy with the result, but it is definitely usable and it works. There was a piece of metal in the front here that got chewed up in the process, but he just put the foam back in and everything looks great. Now, I'm going to show you this hose goes through the front, and then he can take a sip of water. Basically, it's a bite type. You bite it, and you suck the water out. It doesn't come spraying out. You have to suck the water out. Okay, but there's one thing that he noticed that I wanted to show you guys, is that depending on the type and the bend of this hose, if you notice, see the kink in this hose? Okay, that kink sometimes gets a little severe if he pulls on the hose too much. So this hose is usually right, and it fits right on the corner of this helmet. So depending on the type of helmet that you have, this hose can sometimes get pinched. Now, he never complained about it not giving him water, but sometimes he says that he had to kind of adjust it every once in a while if he had his head turned. So something to watch out for if you do the helmet modification that he has done. Okay, so when you put your pack on, you put your helmet on, and then you reach back, you're going to have to feel for it, or somebody who you're riding with clips that on like so. And then now you have a hydration pack that's connected to your helmet, and you don't have to fiddle with, like, say, Camelback, where you have the hoses on your chest and you got to reach down and grab it or pull it up. So this is pretty cool. He likes this. Now, one thing that he did notice, that after we were done riding, maybe took a half an hour break, he took his helmet off, disconnected, and he put his helmet down, and he grabbed his pack, and he realized he couldn't take a sip of water. So when you have the helmet mod, you have to have the helmet on to take a drink. So we kind of laughed about it, but still no regrets with buying the pack. I'm interrupting this video to give you information that my son just gave me. We are missing two pieces to the puzzle, and that was what the other hook was in the bag. There are two hooks in this bag. One is for the water bladder, but the other one is a little storage pack. There's some mesh pockets. There's a little expander here, probably for a screwdriver or something. And then there's tiny little pockets here. There's two of them to put things in. And how that works is you slide this in and you hook that on like so, if I can do it with my fingers. And that's how it hangs. Now, we thought that you could hang on either side, but I was unaware of this bag. The other is, there is another valve that you can use if you do not want to do the helmet modification. And basically what you do is you take the valve stem, which is in here, you take this off and you put this one on. And obviously it wouldn't be in the helmet. This would just be at your chest level, and then you would bring it up. Now, the cool thing about this is that it has a dust cover and a mud cover if you ride where we ride. So now this is hanging at your chest, and when you want to use it, you push that off and you sip from it, and then you put it back. Now this obviously isn't something that you want to maybe try to attempt when you're riding. That's probably why he used the helmet modification. But anyway, we wanted to show you and be complete with our review and showing you the two things that we forgot: the little storage pack and the optional other bite valve. Now, back to our original video. All right, so one other modification he made to this that really doesn't affect the pack so much, but what you put in the pack. And that is a toolkit. The whole reason why he bought this pack is because the Camelback packs that we have were really small, and you can hold like a candy bar and maybe a key to your car, and that was it. But he bought himself a cover. Well, actually, this is actually a holder for the tools. This is made by Klim, and I can put a link below for this as well. He bought this. This is basically just nylon again. It's not canvas or leather or anything. And we're going to go through all the tools that he has in this pack. It's pretty cool. He spent probably a week looking for the right tools. All right, so first we have tire irons. So these tire irons are aluminum, and they have interchangeable sizes for different size nuts on the rear and front axle bolts. He bought himself a brand new pair of needle nose pliers, and then he's got a screwdriver here, which you unscrew. Basically, you unscrew the top, and he's got extra tips in here that are magnetic into the tip. This is a very old, very old screwdriver that my dad had. This, he got that from my dad. So we've got those. I'm going to show you this next. This is something that actually my oldest son Andrew got this for me for Christmas, but I gave it to Ryan because he was making this. This is a I guess you call it a wire saw. It's for cutting basically branches that are basically maybe 1 or 2 inches thick to maybe clear the trail. So you got a ring on one side, ring on the other. I'm not taking this out because it is a pain to get back in. But that's a little saw for cutting trees. Okay, so we open up the rest. He's got some metric wrenches here, larger sizes, and he's got smaller metric wrenches down underneath here. We got metric size Allen wrench, several sizes to take care of. And this is trail, so this is more or less just to get you back to your truck or camp. He's got a pair of forceps for tiny little bolts, tiny little things that we got to grab. Wire ties. How many? We were just watching the Dakar, and Toby Price had to use wire ties to put hold his tire together to get him back to the paddock. So wire ties are definitely a must if you're trying to do quick repairs. And then in the zippered pouch, he's got some electrical tape that we put in a bag because these have a tendency to sweat and get sticky after a while. He's got a pair of gloves, keep his hands clean, and we've got a couple of one more insert for the tire levers. This is probably the size maybe for a front axle bolt. It's definitely a lot smaller. And what looks to be Teflon is actually, he took the Teflon out and put in some 20 gauge stainless steel wire. So if we got to pin something, wire something up, he can do so. So that is, I believe, everything that is in this pack. Now, probably 2 or 3 weeks after he put this pack together, we were riding at Mines and Meadows, and there was a guy that actually had a problem, and he was able to help the guy with his pack, and it was great. He was loving it, and that's why he did it, to help other people. That's what Ryan likes to do. He likes to help everybody. I did want to mention that all of these straps are really, really tight. I mean, none of this stuff is moving. It is very high quality. The pack does have a little bit of padding. There's probably about an 1/8 inch of padding on the front and on the back. This, of course, folds in. but all of these straps are really tight, they're really high quality, and especially with this being used for a year, the straps, they're still elastic and they haven't expanded, you know, how some straps expand and they lose their ability to hold stuff. These have definitely stayed tight. So what he does is that he gets this pack, he tightens it up. We get this all ready to go. And believe it or not, even with the amount of water that he has in this pack, he can still get this in here, which is what he does. He takes this, and that's how he goes down the trail. He has his water bladder and he puts that toolkit in there. He says he carries enough water and everything is great, but this obviously expands enough and he carries his tools. So it's not what the pack was designed for, but it certainly holds the tools and he doesn't complain. The added weight has not acted adversely against the straps. They're still holding, the stitching's still good, nothing is tearing, and he has made it work for him. So something to consider if you guys want a nice light pack and still carry what looks to be a huge, and this thing probably weighs about 4.5 pounds. So this is not light. So if you guys are in the market for wanting to have something small but still carry some tools in your backpack, this setup is going to work. That is it for review of the Leatt 2.0 GPX Race Light Hydration Pack. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you have any questions about what we reviewed here, any of the tools, about the pack, the helmet, please leave them below. I usually reply within 24 hours, and I love the comments. Please keep them coming. If you like this video, please click the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to click on the bell because more videos are going to be on their way. Once a week, that's the goal for 2021. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.